welcome to CNN's News of the Absurd. I'm Jarrett Bellini, and this week I thought we'd take a look at some recent video we've collected and deemed to be creepy. Not horror movie creepy, but blind date with Jeffrey Dahmer creepy. And we start with the head of Albert Einstein. He smiles, he frowns. He gets surprised, he gets angry. Yes, it's super robotic bipolar Al.
So by using some really clever techniques, the engineers who designed this robot were able to simulate all of the major muscle groups in the face so that this robot is exactly as expressive as you or I.
Uber nerds at UC San Diego built this amazing Einstein head with 31 unique motors that mimic the 52 muscles of the human face. And just like the real physicist, this is the face he makes when he's gassy.
The best expressions that you can recognize right now are expressions of sadness and happiness.
But to really, up the creepy, the Einstein robot is equipped with tiny cameras in his eyes. The cameras read your face, and then the robot does what it sees. Amazingly, it can even do Eric Stoltz movie characters. The developers are hopeful that the Einstein robot might someday accomplish a number of things besides just being creepy, from teaching children with autism how to communicate to acting as Big Brother in the classroom.
A robot like this can aid in a classroom and do things that, the teacher who really doesn't have eyes in the back of her head to keep track of every student all the time, maybe this can help.
Because that's what keeps easily distracted kids in check. A robot that mimics everything they do. Until then, its primary purpose is to haunt my dreams. Now, speaking of replicating the human form, this next story is about the very modern pinnacle of lifelike engineering. The world-changing creation that allowed one scientist to turn to another and say, "By God, Stanley, I've done it." Of course, I'm talking about the blow-up doll. However, with every great, decent, and beautiful thing that's ever come along, there has to be somebody that goes and makes it creepy. This is that somebody.
As I walked by, I saw this guy with the two blow-up dolls and kissing them and bouncing them and kind of trying to get people's attention.
It all happened in a Publix parking lot in Cape Coral, Florida, where people saw George Bartusek sitting in his car, not looking for his grocery list. And if he was looking for his grocery list, he apparently placed it in a very unfortunate location.
It's just crazy, and I'm with my daughter and she can't believe what we're seeing.
What kind of warped mind would think of doing something like this?
Police were promptly called to the scene where the man was arrested and charged with breach of peace. He's yet to enter a plea, but he has retained a lawyer and is due in court later this month. Florida, you beautiful, beautiful nutter of a state. Finally, as long as we're talking about the human form, we'll end with a magnificent, healthy baby boy. But this one's a little bit different. Mind you, however, the baby isn't what's creepy. Wait for it. This is St. Luke's Hospital in San Francisco. And this is little Kamani Hubbard.
Nurses and doctors, it looks so normal. They couldn't tell. They told me he was 6 pounds in good health, and that was all they said.
But then, Dad noticed something. His baby had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. A rare case of polydactyly. Only these were perfectly developed. Now, enter the creepy.
It's merely an interesting and beautiful variation rather than a worrisome thing.
Apparently, Neil Young is a licensed pediatrician.
I would be very tempted to leave those fingers in place.
And perhaps old Marty McMuttonchop over here is onto something, because really, the possibilities are endless. Seriously, 2 words, Guitar Hero.
I realize that children will tease each other over the slightest things, and having extra digits on each hand is more than slight. But imagine what sort of a pianist a 12-fingered person would be. Imagine what sort of a flamenco guitarist. If nothing else, think of their typing skills.
That's right, Kamani. You can be the next great Mozart, the next great Andres Segovia, the next great administrative assistant. But the only thing that truly matters is that the baby is healthy, the parents are happy, and there's extra piggies to do complicated math problems. You know, the ones that go to 12. Well, that's all for this edition of News of the Absurd. I'm Jarrett Bellini, and I'm not really good at math. I would kill for an extra piggy. The cameras read your face, and then the robot does what it sees. Amazingly, it even knows when I'm gassy. Oh, one second. Amazingly, it can even mimic me being gassy.